Well, I am really looking forward to this workshop coming up about sexuality and aging. It's really near and dear to my heart, both empirically, clinically, and personally, as I'm now 79 years old. So let's start off with the good news. The good news is there's good science that says you can be sexual in your 60s, 70s, and 80s. And not only can you be sexual, but people who are sexual in their 60s, 70s, and 80s are more satisfied than they were 20 years ago, and that they feel that they've beaten the odds and they can really take pride in having a sexual relationship that integrates desire, pleasure, eroticism, and satisfaction. So that's the good news. Now, let me give you the bad news. Bad news is that about 1 out of 3 couples between 60 and 65 stop being sexual. 2 out of 3 between 70 and 75 stop being sexual. And it isn't because they want to stop being sexual. And it isn't because it's a joint decision. They stop being sexual because it's the man's choice. Most people don't know that, but it's true. And over 90% of the time, it's the man's choice because he's lost his comfort and confidence with erections. And he says to himself, not to his partner, but to himself, I don't want to start something I can't finish. A really bad decision, psychologically, relationally, and sexually. The advantage of sex and aging is that you need each other more than you did 20 years ago. An advantage of sex and aging is that you define sex more broadly to include not just intercourse, but also sensual, playful, and erotic touch in addition to intercourse. And if sex does not flow to intercourse, no apologizing, no panicking. Turn towards your partner and say, this is not going to be an intercourse night, but it can be a really good night for us sexually. So you want to emphasize sexuality as more than just intercourse and orgasm, but sexuality as sharing intimacy, sharing pleasure, and sharing eroticism. And what we're going to be doing in talking about details and psychosexual skill exercises and clinical examples is how to promote sexuality which is satisfying as you age.